Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time from Julie. And Julie wanted me to do a commentary on Superman, the movie. And I have the Blu-ray in, but I figure at least I can show the DVD. So it's something to show. Superman, the movie's a classic. I do have issues, mainly the ending, but overall, this is still one of my favorite superhero movies. I think it's the best Superman film. And yeah, it's up there as one of my favorite superhero movies. Definitely top 5, maybe top 3 comic book films. And I am watching the theatrical cut. Because I haven't seen the theatrical cut in a long time, and I figure watch it the way it was originally intended when this went into theaters way back in the day when they said you will believe a man will fly. So 3, 2, 1, pressing play. And we have the old Warner Brothers logo. Dedicated to Jeffrey Unsworth. I'm not familiar with who that is. And Richard Donner, who by this time had made The Omen. This is definitely, though, I mean, The Omen got him to the echelon of directors. People wanted to hire him. This definitely did. It was always interesting, the fact that they start off with this comic book black and white. Again, interesting way of directing it. Like, you have that old school curtain open up, and it's not usual. It's like giving an homage, giving a nod to the hat, to the source material. And then that was a comic book. Now here's our film. And it's black and white. You think it's going to be an old school flick. No, we want to wow you. We want to astound you. We want to blow you away. We want you to blow your mind. So we'll open up the film. And these titles. It's weird how even the titles are badass in this. I mean, the way they have the titles. I mean, you get excited from the titles because this is unique. It's different. They didn't half-ass it with just, let's have a black screen, white tiles, they pop up. No, give it pizzazz, give it the reverence. And that's what the people, especially Richard Donner, did with this film. They gave Superman respect and reverence. And of course, John Williams' score. What can be said about John Williams? One of the best themes in film history. I guess originally they wanted Jerry Goldsmith to do the score, but Jerry Goldsmith was busy doing other films, scheduling issue. Then funny enough, years later in around 84, Jerry Goldsmith did the score to Supergirl. But yeah, John Williams, it's this or Raiders of the Lost Ark as my favorite score by John Williams. I like the score in Star Wars and other stuff, but again, for favorite, it's this or Indiana Jones. I mean, if I had to pick, it's tough. But yeah, this came out in 1978, and this is almost became the opening of much bigger, crazier, higher budgeted science fiction films, because this is around the same time you had Star Wars in 77, you had Close Encounters of the Third Kind, you had Superman the movie, which came out 78. Came out a bit later because they were pretty much making 2 films at the same time. They did like 1 film and then like 75% of the second film, and they said, well, let's get the first film out and see if it works. And then the producers, the Salkinds, and Richard Donner did not work well together. And Richard Donner was honest during the press, and then the Salkinds pretty much said, well, fuck you, Donner. You're not coming back. So they got Richard Lester to complete Superman 2. And then Richard Lester would do Superman 3, which a lot of people disliked that. Stuart Baird, editor. Stuart Baird would actually direct films later on, like U.S. Marshals and I think one of the Star Trek movies, like one of the shitty ones, honestly. I think Star Trek Nemesis he did. Maybe it wasn't Stuart Baird. But I mean, he was definitely edited a lot of other stuff, and then went into directing. Mario Puzo, famous for The Godfather. And that's for what I understand, the original idea was going to be a much more comedic, goofy film, and Richard Donner's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? This is Superman. Verisimilitude. That's the word he kept using, verisimilitude. Give it the respect. You give it the respect, the audience will appreciate the respect. So you give it a big scope, the titles, the music, and then the introduction of Krypton and this sense of awe and wonder, and it's not cheap, it's not low budget, it's not BC movie grade. No, this is an A picture, and people were excited, and it became a huge hit. When the teaser, if you watch the teaser, it's just flying through the crowds, names, and then Superman, the movie. People are like, yeah! People don't get that excited anymore. Because Hollywood fucking sucks. And it's not just the theme, the main theme that John Williams did a great job. Even this piece of music. Again, like Richard Donner, the way that they're introducing Krypton. Like, okay, here's the sun, here's this. Reveal Krypton. And like, this is meant to be seen on a big screen, this scope. Like, let's bring the audience into this world. And this Iceland, well, not Iceland, but this land of ice and crystals. I love the way Krypton looks in this. This is my favorite look of Krypton. This, like, realm of ice castles and ice, domes, and that was an interesting idea. I keep saying ice, but it's more crystals. Looks like ice. See, that's another great piece of... I know that music was used in the teaser for Superman Returns. And this is a setup to Superman 2. Because Marlon Brando is going to sentence these 3 Kryptonians, including Terrence Stamp, and that's going to set up the second film. Now, Marlon Brando, of course, from Apocalypse Now, The Godfather, at the time considered a big get because he's such a... Well, at this... Nowadays, you see huge actor as in he's fat, but huge actor as in people wanted him. People respected him. People worshipped at the altar of Marlon Brando. But the thing is, the guy, to be honest, he's a good actor. Don't get me wrong, he's a good actor. But what happened with him is he hated working. You see various stories about how he did not want to work. He loved getting paid, but he didn't respect... It's like, this whole acting thing is stupid, and there's all this stuff. And that's why he didn't learn his lines. He would never want to learn his lines. Like, all this stuff is from looking at cue cards, or looking at other stuff and reading them off. Because he's like, well, if it's too rehearsed, it'll be too fake and phony, and... Richard Donner at one point talked to his agent, and his agent was honest and said, I'm going to warn you about Marlon Brando. And Richard Donner's like, what are you talking about? Let me tell you something. Marlon Brando's the type that said, he would say, could this character be a green suitcase? And Richard Donner's like, what? And agent said, well, Marlon Brando would think, we don't know what Kryptonians look like. Maybe be a green suitcase. And Richard Donner's like, well, that's insane. And the agent would go, well, think about it. If you said yes, and he got you to do it. If you didn't want to fight back, like if you didn't stand your toes, if you didn't stand on your feet, and you wanted to submit to him in that way, which I think some did, but maybe it was like a respect factor, like, hey, if you don't call me on my BS, I'll respect you more. Maybe it's that type of thing. Like, I wonder what I could get away with stupid wise. But also, hey, if it's a green suitcase, I could just do voiceovers and I still get paid. And that's how Marlon Brando worked. It's like, what's the easiest way I can get paid? Hey, I do a voiceover and I don't have to come in. And at the time, he was paid a shitload of money. I mean, he was paid like $3-4 million, and he's in the film for what? Less than 10 minutes, if that. And then he got like a percentage of the profits. So some say he got like 20 million by the end of the day. And he said, well, I'll do the film, you pay me this much, and it's gotta be in 12 days. Okay, so they did that. He would now memorize his lines. At the end, he had 2 cards. When he's looking at the baby, he wrote fucking lines on the diaper of the baby in order to not memorize his lines. And yeah, it's always kind of interesting, like this whole very weird, crazy image, but interesting as well when they're trapped in this plate of glass, really. To the danger zone, the twilight zone. Forgive me? Bullshit, you should have sucked my dick, and then maybe I forgive ya. Here's Marlon Brando talking about global warming. And as for, I mean, this is a project that just was thought of for years, and some people thought, it's Superman, it's gonna be goofy, it's gonna be cheesy. But a lot of people went up for it. Steven Spielberg wanted to direct, but they're like, I don't know, you're wanting too much money, and who are you? And films like Jaws came out, and then he's like, well, I'm going to do my own stuff. So many actors, I mean, names floated for various parts with Paul Newman, Clint Eastwood, James Caan. Sylvester Stallone, I guess, wanted to play Superman, but apparently Marlon Brando said no. For some reason he had the power to say no. I don't know why. But even if Stallone, I love Stallone, but he would now work with Superman. Hey, yo. I don't know why I made Stallone sound like Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, but I love Stallone. I don't see him playing Superman. I don't. Hey, I'm Superman. I'm the Italian stallion. Hey, Lewis, you want to come up and ride on my cape? I just don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. And pretty much, the producers, they wanted big names, even if it didn't fit. Hey, James Caan, who was famous, The Godfather, Rollerball. Hey, Al Pacino. Hey, Steve McQueen. Hey, Clint Eastwood. Again, none of them would fit for Superman. Christopher Reeve was the best choice, not only because he was an unknown, so it wasn't, here's blank and blank playing Superman. It's, I don't know who that is. That must be Superman. And granted, I'm sure that haunted Christopher Reeve because it was his most famous role, but it became the role that he would always be remembered for. And really, think of other jobs. I mean, he got other jobs, but none of them came to the big prominence of Superman. Just how it worked. And some of them were good. Village of the Damned, he did a good job working with John Carpenter in Village of the Damned, but... And Christopher Reeve, I mean, I don't know. You hear stories that at times he was a dick, at least when it got into the 80s, and the latest Superman sequels. I don't know, I wasn't there. But it's still sad what happened to him. Cut way short. It's very tragic what happened to him. The horseback riding accident, being paralyzed, hoping he would get back on his feet, beat it, sadly passing away. Just how it is. I love this production design. The suits, the way they glow, which I forget how they did that. Some material on the suit and something about changing the lighting and so they'll look like they're glowing. And nice imagination, nice atmosphere. And I mean, Marlon Brando, for a guy that didn't want to memorize his lines, I thought he did fine in the role. I think there's a David Letterman interview from the early 80s where Christopher Reeve was saying about how he was disappointed in Marlon Brando because he was phoning it in, and I mean, Reeve has a point. See, right there, you bet he's reading off cue cards, probably laying in that crystal crib. That would be one painful dildo. Thanks, Dad. You gave me all these fucking crystals for Christmas, birthday, and graduation. But that's what I mean. Like, they made it a big scope. Like Richard Donner, who would go on, of course, to do the Lethal Weapon films, The Goonies. Let's see. He would do Assassins. He would do 16 Blocks. He would do Conspiracy Theory. I like a lot of Richard Donner's movies. And it's one of those things where one second. Okay, sorry. I muted my microphone because I thought I was hearing something, but it's an ambulance. It was an ambulance going by. Hopefully everything's well. Maybe it's not ambulance. Maybe it's just someone being like woo woo woo. If I hopefully I muted the microphone right so that you didn't hear that. Maybe it's a parade. Hey, you're watching Superman the movie! Yay! Let's celebrate! Boo 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 boo. Anyway. But see, that's why I always go back to this because it's my favorite. How do I put it? I'm a big Ninja Turtles fan. As goofy, as silly, as stupid as people think they are, I think there's a great possibility to give them relevance and a prevalent thought process into them with respect and verisimilitude and all that. Because that's the use Richard Donner would use through the making of this film. And then people go, well, come on, it's the Ninja Turtles. They're silly, they're goofy. I'm like, no, if you take anything and you give it the respect, you can work wonders. This, look at this. Oh, okay, it's a guy with a red suit and a big ass and fucking red underwear. Right? Like, come on. Like, this is a guy that he puts on glasses and no one recognizes him. Come on, he's again, he's wearing red underwear. But when I looked at Christopher Reeve, I looked at his performance as Superman. I looked at the production value. I looked at the actors. Like, they get Marlon Brando from The Godfather. They get Gene Hackman from The French Connection. Academy Award winners. You get, Jackie Cooper. You get Glenn Ford. You get a great score. You get, again, for the time, top-notch production values for the time. You know, doing this work where this is serious. Like, these are people dying. I always, as a kid, I thought this was a creepy scene when, right before it blows up and all the people are falling, like screaming to their deaths. I always thought that was a creepy moment. I don't know what it is. I think it's because they're screaming in terror and then silence, and then the explosion. I think that's what it is. It's the silence part. Like, I don't know why. As a kid, that was creepy. It may sound stupid, but I didn't. And you know what? I can enjoy Superman as Goofy. That's the thing, like Ninja Turtles. I can enjoy him as Goofy. I like Ninja Turtles too, Secret of the Ooze. But people like the first film, and the first film is goofy, but there's also little bits of seriousness. Do more with it, I think people could respect it easily. I think people are yearning for it. Batman. Okay, you have Adam West Batman, that's enjoyable, but don't have it only be that. That's my point. Don't have it just only be goofy, goofy, goofy. There are moments you can't, if anything could be treated with reverence. People who don't think so, that's limited thinking in my opinion. Unimaginative, uncreative thinking. You just gotta put the work and time into it. Like they did with this. Like the destruction of Krypton, doing it practically, doing it in camera. The days where, that's the thing, like, there are good CGI, don't get me wrong, but when everything looks like a fucking so smooth and so clear and so digital, there's nothing physical there. It just takes me out of it, and I like video games, but I don't want to watch every movie as a video game. There's something real there. That's where, like, all these people are dying, and that's coming up here, with all the people, like, falling to their deaths. Like, all these people are dead. It's pretty horrific when you look at it. Look at all these people. Silence, and then boom. Oh shit. And, people look at it back in the day and they laugh at the effects and they do all this and that, and it's like, that's the thing, that you see a lot of these people who do like trailer reactions, or they do reactions to the films, or they do this and that, and somehow get away with copyright. But if I show a poster, no, not a poster, but if I show like a 30-second TV spot, I get in trouble. But hey, they show most of the film and they're fine, so YouTube just doesn't like me for some reason. But anyway. And this is sort of given the idea that Jor-El is teaching all the ideals. Right, I don't know if the baby can hear and understand it. Maybe he can, I don't know. Plus, I don't know how the fuck, how does he know all this stuff about Earth? Did he visit Earth on vacation? Was like Suburban Commando? Marlon Brando was Suburban Commando. Like, Marlon Brando landed back in the day, and it's a nice place to live, but I wouldn't want to visit. There you go, somehow I put a fucking Suburban Commando reference. I like Suburban Commando. But getting back to this. As he's going to land on Earth. And you know what his parents aren't? His parents aren't dickheads who are going, well, maybe you should let him die. What, was I supposed to let him die? Maybe. Maybe you should let him die. Maybe you should just, fuck him in the ass. I mean, here's the thing with Man of Steel and Zack Snyder. I get the idea that you don't want to copy and paste a film that's already been done. I can understand that. Trust me, I can understand that. On the flip side, the way Zack Snyder did it, I would rather you just copied it. I gave you, like, you were given the chance to do a new type of Superman. I saw it and I went, you know what? I don't really like it. I don't like this fucking grumpy, ready to be a Terminator Superman. Sorry. People love it. Cool. To me, I don't feel that's Superman. There's 100 other characters you could make and do that same thing. Now, if you're at like a fourth, fifth film, and then Superman becomes that, now that you've established that this is who Superman's character is, this is who and what his morals are, and then, hey, like life, the up and down that we all go through. This is another part of his life where he goes through a dark part like we all do. I can understand that. But from the get-go, no, I'm sorry. If you liked it, cool. I'll stick with this and we'll be happy either way. I'll stick with this film. I'll stick with the Fleischer Superman cartoons. Superman 2. Yes, Superman 3. I like that movie. Yes, it's goofier. But here's the thing. When people go, well, you just not willing to accept and be an open mind to different interpretations of Superman. Okay, I could throw that right back. Then you should like Superman 3. But it's goofier. Oh, you just don't like different dissertations of Superman. You just want the same thing over and over. You're willing to see something a bit darker, but not something a bit sillier. Is that hypocrisy? Sounds like me being an asshole, right? Now, if you disagree, you disagree. That's fine. But then when people try to push you into, like, you better think like this, no, we all have different opinions, different thoughts, different beliefs, and different subjective opinions. That's why there's no such thing as a best picture. Just everyone's mind has a different idea of best picture. Because I was showcasing the strength of this little kid. And then we cut to Jeff East, who is the teenage Clark Kent. The actor's name is Jeff East, but they redubbed Christopher Reeve's voice into it, which I thought was the better decision. I'm sure Jeff East was disappointed because, I get to be in this part, but it's not even my voice. But it made sense if he's going up to be Christopher Reeve. His voice should not be completely different. So again, I thought that was actually a smart decision to have. I mean, yeah, your voice changes a little bit, but not totally different. Granted, other movies have done it, and I can accept it for what it is, but again, I understand why they did that. And Jeff East, he would be in a few other films. I think he was in the Wes Craven film Deadly Blessing, and a few others as well. And of course, this guy fucked him over. See, you show Superman being mad. But with Zack Snyder, he would take that blue truck and throw it at the car and kill everybody in it. That's what Zack Snyder would do with his Superman. I'm going to take this truck, I'm going to throw it right in front of you and almost kill you. Or blow up their fucking car. From what I understand, they had an air cannon for that football to shoot it up like that. See, when people, oh, he's just a Boy Scout. See, he got a bit mad there. Understandable. Now, that little girl is supposed to be Lois. And you're like, well, wait a minute. How come, like, Lois is pretty young there. I think that's why they cut it out, I believe. They cut out the... And the theatrical cut, it's not that she's Lois, right? It's just a random girl. Yeah. Which I don't understand why they cut out, because it's like, well, wait a minute, Lois is so much younger, and Superman's like a high schooler, and that girl looks like she's in elementary school. But yet, Lois looks older than Clark Kent when at the Daily Planet. Oh, Superman's metabolism. Well, no, because if he's going through high school, then people would be like, well, wait a minute, you still look the same even though it's been, 10 years. The movie doesn't showcase he has a slower metabolism to age differently. And this is the thing that establishes that he wants to impress a human quality, but at the same time, he's not being a dick about it. Or he's not being emo about it. Or he's not being like, hey, son, should have thrown that truck. I don't know, should I have saved those kids? Maybe not. This podcast actually has morals. Just this one scene alone shows that he's got more morals than Kevin Costner did in Man of Steel. Sorry. Sorry, I'm just listening to the dialogue. We thought people would come take you away because when they found out, like they hit him because they were scared that he was going to be taken away. You are here for a reason. And it's not to score touchdowns. And Glenn Ford does a good job here. You're doing the best that he can. See, that's a nice loving moment. And it's not, again, the way Paul Kent dies. It's not the stupid, well, there's a tornado and Clark Kent could save him. But Kevin Costner did talk to the hand, Clark. Don't save me. Fuck it. I mean, who cares about your secret identity if you don't let your dad die? I mean, which is better? Keep your secret identity or let your fucking dad die? Superman be like, fuck my secret identity at this point. My dad's gonna live. This, though, works better because Superman can do a lot of stuff, but he can't save someone from a heart attack. And he even states that, like, all those powers, I could do anything. That was a good way to write it. That he has all these powers, but he can't do everything. And John Williams' score, the wide scope of the farm, showing the rural Americana, showcasing where Clark came from, where he got his moral center from. Again, like, this is a guy who loved him, was a father to him, and like you said, even with all his powers, I couldn't save him. And it rings true. There's nothing he could do. So it shows, for an invincible character, how he can be hurt and vulnerable. And you feel bad for him, and you feel for the character. And I think that worked very well. And this is an origin story that works because it's beautifully filmed. Like, look at this big widescreen, big scope. showcasing the beautiful sky or the remnants of Krypton or the outer reaches of space or just scope. Like Richard Donner said, I want to have scope. And guess what? It's not filtered, digitally filtered to be fucking gray, Zack Snyder. Hack Snyder. If you like Zack Snyder, fine. I don't like him. Army of the Dead fucking disappointed the fuck out of me. I don't like his DC films. And hey, I'm sorry, I'm going to keep saying it because I don't like them. Yeah, this is a much better fucking film than anything Zack Snyder has done. Richard Donner is a better director. Sorry, Lethal Weapon films. The Goonies. Better films than what Zack Snyder has done. In my opinion. This is where you're going to find the crystal sort of is calling to the Fortress of Solitude. This I'll read a little bit here about the making of. Granted, some of it's from Wikipedia, so who knows how much is bullshit. But I mean, I'm not an expert on it. I'm not an expert on, because I didn't make the film. I wasn't on set. But it says there, the producer Ilya Selkine had first conceived the idea for Superman in late 1973. In November 1974, after a long, difficult process with DC Comics, the Superman film rights were purchased by Ilya, his father Alexander Salkind, and their partner Pierre Spangler. DC wanted a list of actors that were to be considered for Superman and approved the producer's choices of Muhammad Ali. Why? Muhammad Ali? Al Pacino. Sorry, I like Al Pacino, but I don't buy him. Lex Luthor, you're out of order. You're out of order. James Caan, no. Steve McQueen, no. Clint Eastwood, I like Clint Eastwood. How many heat visions did I give you, Luthor? Was it 84 or 85? Dustin Hoffman, no. Well, Lex Luthor is going to be like a kryptonite-ridden dentistry to ask Superman, is it safe? The filmmakers felt it was best to film Superman and Superman 2 back-to-back and to make a negative pickup deal with Warner Brothers. William Goldman was approached to write the screenplay while Lee Brackett was considered. Ilya hired Alfred Bester, who began writing a film treatment. Alexander felt, however, that Bester was not famous enough to be hired, so they got Mario Puzo to write the screenplay for $600,000. Francis Ford Coppola, William Friedkin, Richard Lester, Peter Yates, John Guillermin, Sam Peckinpah were in negotiations to direct. Peckinpah dropped out when he produced a gun during a meeting. George Lucas turned down the offer because of his commitment to Star Wars. Ilya wanted to hire Steven Spielberg. Alexander was skeptical. It was best to wait until Spielberg's Big Fish movie opens. Spielberg had committed to Close Encounters of the Third Kind when they did offer it to him. Guy Hamilton was hired as director. But yeah, that didn't work out. Let's see, pretty much hiring Marlon Brando, hiring Gene Hackman. In 1976, the script was released, or at least fully written, and had a campy tone, including a cameo appearance by Telly Savalas as the Kojak character. The scripts for Superman and Superman 2 are now over 400 pages combined. Well, before I go on, this is again, one of the scenes that really signifies why this film works. This beautiful scope of John Williams music, this crane shot showcasing the field of rural Americana, sort of the blue collar mentality, and sort of the start of this journey where he's going to start the hero's journey. Go off to the distance, leave home, and find his true self. His destiny, so to speak. They don't shoot films like this anymore because do it all in a computer, have a computerized sky, have a computerized, do it all in green screen. Don't go to location, don't do this, don't do that. Even like Zack Snyder, Army of the Dead, the beginning convoy, like some of the car flipping was a fucking CGI. Not all of it, but some of it was like... just ridiculous to me. Fucking ridiculous. Are there films that are fun today? Sure. Nobody... I liked Willy's Wonderland, I like a few others, but... if you don't tell me that we're still in the great realm of movie making like we were in the 70s and 80s, I have to strongly disagree with you. And maybe you should learn why the 70s and 80s have this reverence. There's a fucking reason to it. Even that shot there, the way that's done, whether it be matte paintings, whether it be these tools that are thrown away. Like, we've thrown away the tools of makeup effects, well, for a good chunk of it. We threw away the materials of matte paintings. We never use matte paintings anymore. We never use, model work and like stuff that's worked for years and years, and we just throw them away because we got the computer and we over-rely on it to do everything. And yeah, the computer can do a lot, but cannot do everything. And just because you can doesn't mean you should. Because you can show the whole fucking world blowing up in CGI and 85 cities awash in CGI tidal waves, CGI fires, CGI spaceships, doesn't mean you should. Just you get desensitized to it in a way. It's no more the wow factor. And it all starts looking the same. While here you see the way they did this with whether model work or maybe these are miniatures, but they filming them close up and doing with lighting and the creation of this fortress of solitude. I like how this, this wide shot with this almost explosive in the background. That water is real. It looks real because it's real, that water. And the music, like, people neglect the music in movies today. When was the last great score? I'm not talking about a score that's maybe decent, or a score that's not too bad, but what was the last great, awesome score? You go back in the day and you had people like James Horner and Jerry Goldsmith and John Williams, and even into the 90s you had your Hans Zimmers, and who the fuck do we have today? Today, a newer composer like, yeah, that guy, or that, who? Who's the next John Williams? Who's the next James Horner? Who's the next Jerry Goldsmith? No one. Fucking no one. Like Man of Steel, I actually liked the theme in Man of Steel. I think the theme in Man of Steel is actually the best part of the movie. And who worked on it? Wasn't that Hans Zimmer that worked on that? Old school guy? And I hate Man of Steel, but that score, that theme, I should say, that... I don't know about the rest of the score, but that main theme is really good. But... Here we have Marlon Brando speaking to him with the knowledge of Krypton at now his fingertips. But I think after the film, Marlon Brando sued the Salkinds for more money. I'm like, dude, you worked for 12 days, you read your lines off fucking cue cards and diapers, you were in the film for like 10 minutes, and you got millions and millions of dollars. Apparently, like 3-4 million, and then a percentage, so maybe like 20 million. And you still want more? You didn't do anything. You didn't memorize lines. If someone's going to pay me $4 million to come in to work for 12 days and not even memorize my lines and read off cue cards, I wouldn't bitch about a thing for the rest of my fucking life. Just 4 million after taxes. Let's say you get 2 million. Fuck that 2 million. I had to live for the rest of my life on $2 million. No, yes, believe me, I could live the rest of my life with 2 million. It's just that when people get that money, they just splurge it on 8 cars, and they don't drive 7 of them. Here's a house that has 18 rooms and it's only by yourself. How many people are with you? Me. But there's 18 rooms in this house. Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, 8 cars. How many do you drive? 1. Nice. So my whole point was, because of it, that's why in the sequel they used the mom. But I actually like that, because he does have 2 parents. It's not just the dad. He does have a mom as well. That's why I never minded that. Let the mom talk. I mean, he does have a mom. Why is it like, well, we can't have the mom talk? See, I don't like the Richard Donner director's cut of Superman 2. I don't. I much prefer the theatrical cut. I know I'm alone in that. And I like Richard Donner. But the theatrical cut of Superman 2, I like more than the Donner cut. I don't like the going back in time again. That's one of the few things I don't like about this film, the fucking Earth thing, which I'll get to when we get there. I don't like that that's the ending again. I don't like you take out the best line. General, would you care to step outside? I don't like that line is gone. I like how Lois finds who Superman is better in the first one. Because in the sequel, in the first one, in the theatrical cut, he makes a mistake, his hand's in the fire, he tries to pass it off. Okay. But here, Lois is going to shoot him, but it's a blank. But I'm like, why would Superman not notice it was a blank? He has X-ray vision. Or do they state that, I knew it was a blank, but I wanted to tell you anyway, or something like that? I forget the details. I know, like, she's gonna shoot him, but there's no real bullet. And I'm like, the way he acted is as if he didn't know. I'm like, you have X-ray vision. You can't, tell it's whatever. You can't, whatever. I like the way the theatrical cut is better. And I like Superman 3. Yes, it's a goofier movie, but it's fun. Superman 3 is fun. It's a fun film, and guess what? Some of the Superman comics, people forget Superman comics, there was a fucking comic where Superman fights Muhammad Ali. Speaking of Muhammad Ali. And, sorry, that music just grabbed my attention, and your first reveal Superman and him flying. You will believe a man can fly. Right across camera. You go, oh shit. And we're 40 minutes in. Wow. But that 40 minutes went pretty quick. And okay, this is a 2-hour, the theatrical 2-hour 20-some minute movie. We're 40 minutes in. So we have, let's see if I could do math. 2 hours, 140, about 130? Yeah, about an hour and 30 minutes left. See, but this is an origin that works. Okay, you don't need every fucking film to be an origin. If you need, or it's like everything. If you don't do it, you gotta do it well, and that's all in the subjective mind. Here we got Margot Kidder. Margot Kidder before this was in films like Black Christmas, among others. And we got Mark McClure as Jimmy Olsen. So Mark McClure was in all the Superman movies, the four of them, as well as Margot Kidder. But Margot Kidder pretty much had a cameo in Superman 3 because apparently like the Salkinds didn't like her talking shit, so they gave her pretty much a cameo. Here's Jackie Cooper. There's only one P in rapist. And Christopher Reeve. It's pretty astonishing when you think about it. We're 15 minutes in and we finally get the, I would call the star of the film, Christopher Reeve. That's the thing, like, you have to do it well. And this does it well because of the scope, the reference, the score, the solid actors. And like Lois Lane, oh, there's no strong females. Lois Lane is strong. She's got spunk. She's not a pushover. And Christopher Reeve, man, may he rest in peace. He just embodied this role so well. He embodied the nerdy quality of Clark Kent. Which, is there even a Clark Kent in Zack Snyder's films? I mean, is there? There's not really a Clark Kent in his films. Not. I mean, I guess technically there is because there's scenes of him in the newspaper, but so technically there is, to be fair, but it just doesn't feel like it. Doesn't feel like it at all. Yes, sends half his paycheck to his gray-haired mother. Actually, she's silver-haired. That's like Christopher Reeve embodied the nerdy quality, but it's wholesome and it's natural and it's uh, a moral, humbling nature to Clark Kent. And then with Superman, you understand this is a character that does want what's best for humanity, for the country, for humankind. And just an aura of wholesomeness, but not, I don't consider it corniness. I don't consider it cheesiness. It's just, and again, it's like him purposely doing these clumsy things to take, like, there's no way this guy could be Superman. So take the recognition away. Yeah, there's no way that clumsy guy could be Superman. And Margot Kidder, I was mentioning, does a good job here. Very likable as Lois. And it's sad that after, I mean, what's the best way to put it? Mental problems? Her mental health was not the best, it seemed, as the years went on. which is too bad. I don't know if Margot Kidder is with us, though. Don't think she is, sadly. Of course, I think this is the bit that they stole for Wonder Woman. I think they did, like, the whole bullet thing and either catching the bullet or Wonder Woman deflected it. Something like this. I don't know, like Wonder Woman stole it. But again, I mean, not only is this a one call an action scene, but establishes Superman faster than a speeding bullet, which is part of the point. And on top of that, showcases that once again, to keep up appearances, he was able to catch the bullet. He's perfectly fine, but because he faints, he's looked down upon as a coward, simpleton, all sorts of stuff. Of course, Ned Beatty as Otis. Otis Berg. Otis Bird. Ned Beatty, of course, would be in quite a few films throughout the years. Deliverance. It's one of his most famous, infamous, however you want to put it. But he does a good job as Otis. Sort of the... I don't want to say friend of... I don't want to say the friend of Lex Luthor, but just the guy Lex Luthor puts up with. And this guy on the right, I believe this guy on the right is the same guy who would be the captain in the Lethal Weapon films. Which I remember in Lethal Weapon 3 or 4, might have been 3. Where he's like, I always knew one day this to be over the fucking falls. Like, or just, I mean, he's a small supporting role in those Lethal Weapon films, but he's still pretty entertaining. And he appeared in, I think, briefly in Predator 2. And he would appear in other, like, Richard Donner productions. And this guy in the hat, I don't know who he is. But they're pretty much like cops looking for Otis and will lead to this guy's death by subway. This is showcase that there is still real danger involved with Lex Luthor. These are still villains. And Lex Luthor, yes, I know he's the main villain of Superman, but it doesn't mean we have to see Lex Luthor in every fucking Superman movie. That's why Superman 3, granted, Robert Vaughn was playing the non-Lex Luthor, but at least that was a plot with like a evil computer and the evil side of Superman and this computer that wants a life of its own and tries to kill Superman with a sci-fi robot. Like, I mean, that's a cool comic book sci-fi production with that third act. Then the Richard Pryor thing is a bit campy, sure. Superman 3 is campy, but you know what? It's entertaining. And doesn't mean I want every Superman movie to be campy. No, but for one, I'm fine with it. Starlight Superman had a fucking credit card. Or we see Superman's ass cheeks and nipples, like Batman and Robin. It's amazing that brain can generate enough power to keep those legs moving. I mean, Gene Hackman, just his banter with Ned Beatty is very entertaining. Very entertaining. And this is Lex Luthor getting this guy killed. Again, shows that he is a villain. And there he goes. He caught the train. Harry's dead. Harry ain't here anymore. That's a bad hat, Harry. It's a bad hat, Harry. Harry is dirty, but he ain't dirty Harry. He's dirty as a corpse with maggots on it now. Miss Tessmacher! Miss Tessmacher! See, I guess to go, I mean, Gene Hackman, I love Gene Hackman. He's one of my favorite actors. I did a list of actors. See, there's also a difference between actors and performers. Like Jean-Claude Van Damme, I love. He is a good actor and and I like his acting, but he's better as a performer. But if you're saying like actors as in they get the Oscars, like James Woods, Gene Hackman, those people would be involved. But like Gene Hackman from Uncommon Valor, which is my personal favorite of his, to of course this movie. He's good in The French Connection. I actually like The French Connection too even more. Comedies like The Birdcage. Because I've always enjoyed Gene Hackman, and he thought he did a great job as Lex Luthor. He was having fun. He was... This is a well-written part as well. Yeah, right. Why ain't I reading it? But yeah, I was listening to Gene Hackman's performance. Now, Superman 2, I do enjoy. It's not my favorite Superman film. I know for a lot of people, Superman 2 is their favorite, but I do like Superman 2. The lovey-dovey, like, romance scenes between Superman and Lois, I don't mind, but at the same time, they're not as interesting to me as, in other stuff, in other movies. And yeah, I liked it in this film. But yeah, I do like Superman 2. Superman 3, I love. I don't care how many people would get mad at me for it. I always enjoy Superman 3 for what it is. A fun, campy, entertaining film. Richard Pryor, I love in it. Superman 4 is a piece of shit. The quest for shit, the quest for cash, the quest for incompetence. Superman Returns, I saw in the theater, and I'm very mixed on Superman Returns. I liked it, but I can't defend it. I'll defend Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I'll defend Ben Affleck's Daredevil, especially the R-rated, the director's cut. Kind of hard to defend Superman Returns. I like it. I like Brandon Routh. I like some of the visual aspects. I think it's a really good-looking movie. Kevin Spacey, despite him being a piece of shit, dirtbag human being, fuck him. I do think he does a good job performance-wise. But there's a lot of aspects that don't work. The fucking Lois doesn't know if Lois had her memory wiped that she was with Superman. Won't she be like, how the fuck did I get pregnant? Who knocked me up? Was something in the Folgers in my cup knocked me up? You know. Superman, when did you date rape me? Because I don't remember you fucking me, Superman. When did you date rape me? And Lex Luthor about land again. Like, it's Brian Singer, which, from all I've heard, is another dirtbag piece of shit human being. Which that's another reason that it's hard to view Superman Returns now. Because you have Brian Singer, who there's rumors he's a pedophile, and then there's Kevin Spacey and the dirtbag shit he did. So it's very tough to watch Superman Returns nowadays. It really is, but... And then, you know, it tries to be a remake of this film, which was a mistake. Because it's Lex Luthor about land again. It's like, no one wants to see Lex Luthor again with land. You did it with this movie. Don't do it again. As I'm trying to get this over here. Come on. Clean my glasses. Like, we saw it once. We don't need to see it again with land. Once was enough. And then there's certain aspects I like about it, there's certain aspects I don't. But that still feels more like a Superman movie to me than Zack Snyder stuff. I'm sorry. That's how I view it. And I changed my mind on it. I'd just rather watch the first 3 Superman movies here. Honestly, my favorite Superman movies is the first one, the third one, then the second one. The Fleischer cartoons are great from the 30s, 40s era. And here we get pretty much the first big Superman action scene, which is what? Over an hour in. But it's well done, like this helicopter bit, like how they make it go off kilter. Which is dangerous stuff, to have this helicopter going about. I look at that. That's real people getting down while this real helicopter tail is crashing through. I don't know if this scene would be done if it was after the Twilight Zone, the movie Incident. Because that was 82. This is 78. Probably filming in 77 or so. So yeah, because for those who don't know, Twilight Zone the movie, one of the segments, directed by John Landis. There was a helicopter. They fucked up with the explosions because John Landis didn't know what the fuck he was doing. It crashed, and it killed it killed 2 kids who should not have been there in the first place, and they killed an actor as well. And John Landis, in my opinion, he should not have been able to get near a camera for the rest of his life after that bullshit. But I mean, you look at this, is some really good stuff done in camera. And now we have this, you know, of course the crowd, like, what the fuck is this? Nowadays, everyone would be just having their cell phone out, recording everything to put it on YouTube. While here, people are horrified. Although I'm like, I would not want to be underneath the fucking thing if it falls. At least you're across the street. Of course, this is a nod to the phone booth. You know, changing the phone booth, but that ain't gonna work. Like in the Fleischer cartoons, you had Superman changing clothes in the phone booth or other stuff. Of course, great review of the S. That's a bad outfit. Excuse me. bad outfit. And see, that's who Superman is. He would say, excuse me. But Christopher Reeve made it work. He made it seem natural. He didn't make it seem hokey. It was natural. Because that's who Superman is. And that's the thing, like, okay, you want to make Superman dark. I'm like, you have a dark character. It's called Batman. That's why, for the most part, there's supposed to be two opposites. Batman's dark, Superman's light. And now, you know, that Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League. And then Zack Snyder's like, oh, you know what, I'm going to get Warner Brothers. And they say no, but maybe they'll continue because this outcry of fans. I'm like, I don't want to see 10 more years of evil fucking Superman. Granted, J.J. Abrams won't make it better anyway with him producing bullshit. Hey, there's going to be a black Superman. I don't want a black Superman. You have plenty of Jon Stewart, Green Lantern. Make that movie. Why don't you make the Jon Stewart Green Lantern movie? How will you make a good Steel movie? Remember Steel? That's in the Superman universe. Make a good Steel movie. I mean, they can't get a white Superman right anymore, but maybe he's black. Maybe Italian. There you go. Have Sylvester Stallone play it. Who are you? Friend. And yet, when he says a friend, you buy it. There's that wholesome nature of, yes, this is the guy, he's got all these powers, but, you know, we're not afraid that he's out there. And I blame Christopher Nolan, too, because Christopher Nolan produced those movies, and he is for this stuff. Like, Christopher Nolan, there's a story about how, you know, Zack Snyder showed him that 4-hour Justice League cut, and Christopher Nolan's like, yay, this is good. Nolan's behind all this, so people who give Nolan the pass, I'm like, I like Inception and one or two of his other movies, but what Nolan did with Batman, which makes a little bit more sense with the Batman character, but you know, people put all the blame on Zack Snyder, but Nolan deserves some of it as well. Something wrong with the elevator? That shows I'm doing a little bit of work here. Yeah, this cop don't know what the fuck to do. I like the fact that two are just stunned, which is understandable. Like, they're just stunned. And they just don't know what to say. Because what can you say? There's a guy with red underwear that just flew around and caught me. Here you get this car chase. He's going a little bit back to apparently the making of. They saw The Omen. The producers hired Richard Donner. Donner had previously been planning Damien Omen 2 when he was hired in 1977 for $1 million to direct Superman and Superman 2. They had prepared the picture for a year, and not one bit was useful to me. Donner was dissatisfied with the campy script and brought in Tom Mankiewicz to perform a rewrite. According to Tom, not a word from the Mario Puzo script was used. It was well written, but still a ridiculous script. It was 550 pages. I said, you can't shoot this screenplay because you'll be shooting for 5 years. Donner continued that was literally a shooting script, and they planned to shoot all 550 pages. You know, 110 pages is plenty for a script, so even for 2 features, that was way too much. The Writers Guild of America refused to credit Mankiewicz for his rewrites, so Donner gave him a creative consultant credit, much to the annoyance of the guild. It was initially decided to first sign an A-list actor for Superman before Richard Donner was hired as a director. And here's the thing with Superman, he's all powerful. He doesn't need to be afraid of these guys. There's no reason for him to be afraid of these guys. And that's the thing, it's the responsibility of Superman of, I'm more powerful than these guys. They can't do anything to me. So I'm not going to be mean, rude, just harsh. Otherwise, what makes him better than the bad guys? That's part of the ethics of Superman. People forget about that, it seems. I don't know why. Oh, he gets a cat out of a tree. Yeah, that's who Superman is. If you don't want to do that, then don't make a fucking Superman movie. There's plenty of dark characters to make. That's like me making an Ninja Turtle film and making them fly. And have superhuman strength. Then I'm not making a Ninja Turtle movie. That's like making a Ninja Turtle film and having them be 8 feet tall, 5 feet wide, steroid abusing, and they throw shit like the Incredible Hulk. Oh, they did that movie. Thanks to Michael Bay producing his sorry ass. I like Michael Bay as a director, but he sucks ass as a producer. Bullshit Ninja Turtle movies 2014, 2016. It's like, okay, I get that you want to do something different, but at the same time, be prepared that not everyone's going to like it. Be prepared that people go, well, this is how it was for, this many years. When people don't, you want to change the status quo. Not everyone's going to be on your side. And we have so much avenues of media, VOD, online of various sorts, direct-to-video. Give people variety then. You want to do your fucking series Superman? Give people the Superman people like in other forms of media. But yeah, you have all this montage of Superman saving the day. Being super. Don't look, just There's one more you don't say about it. What more can you say about it? Superman definitely made a big impression. Lex Luthor ain't happy about it. And this crazily underground lair that Lex Luthor has. How the fuck did he get all the shit down there? He pay a bunch of people to move all this shit down there, or this is just left there? And what the fuck is Ned Beatty eating? Is this like a... Oh, it's like, I guess, like a caramel apple. Caramel apple, whatever. Some people pronounce it caramel. Some people pronounce it caramel. Caramel apple. Isn't this what it is? Been forever since I've had one of those. Especially on a stick. So I'm laughing because I know what's coming up. By the way, next time, put my robe on after I'm out of the pool. How would you know? Sort of a precursor to how Jonah Jameson would be portrayed in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man films with his vigor and energy. I don't know who the fuck he is. Why are you asking me? Perry? Like, I was open. Like, okay, Lawrence Fishburne, he was Perry White. Okay. You know, whatever. But it's just when it's like the main role, and also because we know like why they're doing it. It's not because they hire the best actors, because of some fucking politics they want to force into it. And people smell that from a mile away nowadays, and they're tired of being lectured. It's like we know it's not natural. People they underestimate something happening naturally. Maybe because we're in such a fucking artificial world, artificial on everything on the movie, artificial in the lighting, artificial with the filters, artificial with all the fucking computer work, all the green screen work, filter the colors so it's brighter, darker, with not doing it on set. Of course, I say that, and here it's as Superman's with Lois, we have this fake background. Yeah, you tell it's that's a fake background. It's pretty much just a screen, and the city's projected onto it. That's an effect that doesn't hold up the best because you see like there's a certain fade in the background there behind Superman. This is like a fade of color. I think for years I never noticed that he did an X-ray on her back to showcase that she doesn't have cancer. But I did a nice little detail there showing his X-ray vision. For Superman doing this interview with Lois. I think the suit works well for this movie. I think Christopher Reeve wears the suit well. I like the S. The S is the right shape and size. And Christopher Reeve is just natural in his performance. It doesn't feel stilted, doesn't feel fake or phony. Bodily functions? Put delicately. Do you fart? Do you fuck? I know it's do you eat? There you go. Yeah, well, I'm hungry. Especially when I'm hungry between your legs. We're going to fly and then we're going to fuck. And fucking fly. And fly and fuck. Have you ever fucked in the air like you just don't care? We're fucking and flying and there ain't no one spying. Now, granted, Lois puts this in there because, you know, it's part of the story. Plus, Lex Luthor has to find out about the lead, but it's pretty irresponsible with Lois. Hey, this thing that Superman can't see through, let's tell the world. Hey, you can't see through lead? So a criminal, well, oh fine, fuck it, I'll put whatever the fuck I go to steal in lead, let alone whatever else. So, very irresponsible on Lois Lane's part. Also in Superman's part too, to admit that, but Superman, I could give more lenience to maybe naivete. Do I like pink? Pink puffy lips and not on your face. Sorry. See, that's the thing. When that's why Christopher Reeve worked. You're saying a line like, "I'm gonna fight for truth, justice, and the American way," and he buys it. Now, Superman saying "I never lie," that's bullshit. He lies in the movie. I mean, he lies in the fucking film. I mean, this whole bit, his whole life is a lie. You know, saying that he doesn't know Clark Kent and like, so he fucking lies all the time in this movie. So I never lie is yet again another lie. He's lying about who he is. He's lying when he's pretending to be Clark Kent. He even says, "I don't know who Clark Kent is." So he lies all the time. So what are you talking about, Superman? Who are you bullshitting? You never lie. You fucking lie all the time. Whole fucking life is a lie. Look, he's like, "Clark, who's that? Your boyfriend?" So he just lied there. He lied like, "Who's Clark? Your boyfriend?" That's a fucking lie. You know who Clark is. You're Clark. So you fucking lied there. You're a liar. You fucking lied. Now here we have the scene with her taking Lois on a magic carpet ride. I think originally they were going to have Margot Kidder sing a song of Can You Read My Mind, but then they used the poem version. But I mean, you know, these two worked well together. I think whether in this film or later on, they didn't get along the best. But they did work well together, and the music by John Williams helps a lot as well. Yeah, the effects are not the most convincing, but for 1978, I'd give leniency. When you're seeing worse effects in Superman 4, and what year did that come out? 87? Almost 10 years after this, and the effects in that look worse than this. So, Superman 4, I will give shit for the effects. Here, for 1978, they're pretty damn good. It's always weird, like, that's the Statue of Liberty, so they're in New York, but it's supposed to be Metropolis. So I guess Metropolis is technically New York, but then when you see Statue of Liberty, you think in New York. So the fact you see that, but then they call it Metropolis, it's a bit of a weird disconnect. I'll say that. Okay, wait, that's New York. Oh, but they call it Metropolis. Oh, okay. Don't go too high, Lois won't be able to breathe. Well, actually, probably she will, because remember in Superman 4, that one girl literally was in space and somehow she was breathing. See, in Superman 4, when you had scenes like this, you would see this line around them. Like a certain line, so that like their color is faded. But here, their color is strong and there's no lines around them. There's no fadeness. So it makes you buy into the illusion even more. Going back to this. It was initially decided to first sign an A-list actor for Superman before Richard Donner was hired as director. Robert Redford was offered a large sum of money but felt he was too famous. Burt Reynolds turned down the role. Sylvester Stallone was interested, but nothing ever came of it. Well, apparently Marlon Brando had the power to say, no, not him. Just like apparently Marlon Brando said no for Burt Reynolds to be cast in Godfather. At least that's the story. Paul Newman was offered his choice of roles as Superman, Lex Luthor, or Jor-El for $4 million, but he turned them all down. Casting director Lynn Stallmaster suggested Christopher Reeve, but Donner and the producers felt he was too young and skinny. Over 200 unknown actors auditioned. Olympic champion Bruce Jenner auditioned for the title role. Patrick Wayne was cast, but dropped out when his father John Wayne was diagnosed with stomach cancer. Both Neil Diamond and Arnold lobbied hard for the role, but were ignored. Yeah, I can't see Arnold in this role. And I like Arnold. Same with Stallone. Like I said, I like Stallone, but can't see him in this role. James Caan, James Brolin, Christopher Walken, Nick Nolte, John Voight were all approached. Chris Christopherson, Charles Bronson were also considered. Do you imagine Charles Bronson as Superman? No, I'm sorry. Christopher Walken? Hey Lex, Luthor, I'm going to defeat you with some cowbell. What do you think you're doing? Trying to get real estate from this place? We found guys with good physique who could not act, or wonderful actors who did not look like Superman. Even Ilya Salkind's wife's dentist screen tested. David Prowse, the guy who's actually in the suit of Darth Vader. I know he recently passed away. He helped Christopher Reeve get in shape for the role, the physical regime of Superman. Christopher Reeve went from 188 to 212 pounds during pre-production and filming. I get this. Christopher Reeve was paid $250,000 to do 2 films. It's not like he got paid that twice. $250,000 to play 2 films, and this is Superman. Gene Hackman, $2 million for Superman 1. Marlon Brando, $3.7 for Superman 1. But Reeve felt Superman brought me many opportunities rather than closing a door in my face. Principal photography began on March 28th, 1977 at Pinewood Studios for the Krypton scenes. It was the most expensive film ever made at the time. Filming lasted 19 months because they were shooting 2 films, Superman 1 and 2, back to back. So it went from March 77 to October 1978. John Barry was production designer. A lot of it was shot. The Fortress of Solitude was at Shepperton Studios and Pinewood's 007 stage. Donner never got a budget or a schedule. He was constantly told he was way over schedule and budget. At one point he said, why don't you just schedule the film for 2 days, then I'll be 9 months over. Richard Lester was brought in as a go-between because he had also bad dealings with the Salkinds, because he had sued the Salkinds over the Musketeer movies he had made before that. Richard Donner had completed about 75% of the sequel. If Superman was a box office bomb, they would not finish Superman 2. The original climax for Superman 2 had General Zod, Ursa and Nan destroying the planet with Superman time traveling to fix the damage. I decided Superman is a success, they're going to do a sequel. If it ain't a success, a cliffhanger ain't going to bring them to see Superman 2. So, yeah, I do remember hearing that the whole turn around the world was supposed to be the ending of Superman 2. And honestly, I wish... See, that's the thing. Like, don't worry about a sequel. That's, I think, their biggest mistake. I really do feel their biggest mistake was worrying about a sequel. They should have one film, do the one film only. If you do a sequel, you do a sequel. Because trying to do 2 films at the same time, when you don't even know if the first film will work, you don't even know how the first film will work with the effects, with the flying sequences. It's ambitious. You're dealing with actors like Marlon Brando and Gene Hackman and all this stuff. You don't know what will happen and not happen. So then fucking worry about the one movie. Have an ending to the first movie. If it works, and it works. That way, you don't have this stupid fucking spinning around the world, which I hate, which I know we'll get to, but I'll just mention it now. When you spin around the world, and it brings everything back, and even some of the stuff doesn't make sense because he brought everything back, but then Mark McClure is out there. So if he brought everything back, like if he went back in time, why would Mark McClure be out there? Wouldn't he still be over here? Why would Lois say, wow, this stuff was falling down? But wait a minute, the earthquake, because of the nuclear missile, didn't happen, which is what led to your death. But it did happen because stuff was falling down? Like stuff was falling down on Lois saying, I saw all this stuff falling down. But wait a minute, that means the earthquake happened. But it didn't happen because you're still alive, and that's the worst part of this movie, sadly. And that brings it down. Like, if you had... Just have Superman. So, okay, Superman saves one missile, right? He stops one missile. But then Lex Luthor gets the kryptonite on him. He can't do it. But then he hears Lois Lane. And if he doesn't do something, she's going to die. And then he's remembering his dad and what happened to his dad. And also, he doesn't want these people to die. He doesn't want Lois Lane to die. So he's getting all of his power, all of his momentum, all of his heart, all of his soul. Think of his dad, barely just lifting the kryptonite, gets it off. He's weak. He's weak. He's in turmoil, think of his dad, think of this. And then in order to get his strength up, that he does that fucking scream. No! This whole thing that if he doesn't do this, Lois is gonna die. Maybe Lex Luthor says, they're gonna die, and then he pitches Lois, and he's like, no! Then he goes off, he stops the second missile, he saves Lois, he saves the people, and then he goes back to Lex Luthor, puts him in jail. Boom, the end. And you didn't have to, because here's the thing, when you're going, spinning the whole fucking world, that's another aspect. Even, again, some stuff doesn't make sense when you look at it, but also, why can't Superman do that all the time? That's what it also leads to. If Superman can do this, and there's no ill effects of it, he could do this every time. Oh my god, this person died? Go back in time. Oh shit, this building that blew up. There were people in it. Go back through time. Like, he didn't, in Superman 3, he didn't have to go back and fix all the damage he did. Just go back in time, spin the world around. Superman 4, go back in time. Stop Lex Luthor from releasing that fucking bomb to create Nuclear Man. Go back in time. That's the thing, like, it makes you go, why didn't you do that all the time? But we'll get to that. So here is that I don't trust you, but I don't trust you. So what do you do, Otis? See, these two work so well together. 38, 67, and 117. How about the fourth one? The third one to 117? Otis. 11. And the fourth one's 7. My arm wasn't long enough. Would you like to see a long arm? Would you like to see a very long arm? So then they have to stop the fucking vehicle again. Like, where the fuck did they get this house from? Just basically like, how the fuck did they get this? Now, granted, all the U.S. Navy would not be going up to the front. There'd be no reason to. There'd still be people back there to watch the equipment, but it's a movie. But again, there would be people in the back, like, watching just in case anything happens. Plus, they'd be cautious to, wait a minute, we don't know who this is. This could be a siege. This could be, you know... Plus, they'd have their guns out, like, get back. Well, I don't know if they have their guns out. At least their guns, like, ready just in case. But, it's the 70s, and it's sci-fi, fantasy, and you're not supposed to take it too seriously. Here's Jimmy Olsen by the Hoover Dam. Lois Lane doing this. Does those lead to the earthquake and Lois gets buried and lead to all this stuff here? Man, those old school tape recorders and old school, like, that's how you did back in the day. And then Lex Luthor find out that Superman would hear through this audio that's just way above what humans can hear. Interesting idea. Smart idea for Luthor to do. Of course, what if he's wrong and Superman didn't have that super hearing? Well, I guess that's probably told in the interview. But we saw the interview. I don't remember Superman mentioning that. But unless the interview was longer and we didn't see it, or there was a second interview. Maybe he did. I don't remember. Maybe he did. Aggression, confidence. Yeah, believe me, Zack Snyder's Superman has a lot of aggression. Yeah, dogs can hear it and he can hear it. Sorry, I'm listening to the dialogue. Pretty much Lex Luthor saying, "Oh, this is poison pellet. It's gonna kill half of Metropolis." Now, I don't understand this change of clothes, because I don't understand this. Like, he falls, then he's got his clothes on. I don't understand that. Like, did his clothes just dematerialize? I didn't know Superman had that power. At least with the phone booth, and it's like, okay, he changed his clothes so quickly. No, literally he's fine, and all of a sudden his clothes are gone, and the cape is there. I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? Well, whatever. Yeah, that, again, I don't understand that. Someone's gonna have to explain that to me. Again, feel free. Now, there's a whole scene here that if you watch the extended cut, there's a whole bit where Lex Luthor's using all these gadgets on Superman. They're using bullets, using to fire, all this stuff. It's cool to watch, but at the same time, I mean, it's cool to watch. It was. I just see what was cut out for time, though. But yeah, I just wanted to watch the theatrical cut because I haven't seen it in a while. Usually I would watch the expanded edition from 2000. Planning the death of innocence? No. By causing the death of innocent people. This is so deliciously evil, Lex Luthor. These two missiles are launched, but Gene Hackman's gonna be able to control them. And yeah, there's about 20, about 30 minutes left of the movie. Maybe less, because I'm sure the credits are pretty long. So maybe without the end credits, like 20 minutes left. This is all the real estate scam, which Lex Luthor, there's a lot more to Lex Luthor than real estate. It works fine in this, but just to keep harping in on the real estate scam, it's like Lex Luthor has a lot of other scams. But I mean, it works well for this. So I'm listening to his plan. About Lex Luthor owning all of this desert land that seems pointless and useless. Otis Bird. Hey, Miss Teschmacher. She got her own place. Otis Bird. It's a little bitty place. Otis Bird. Sorry, I'm not saying much. Giving myself a little bit of a breather, I guess. But see, this is what I mean. Like the missiles hit, they cause a lot of destruction, and then when Superman goes back in time, like the dam fixes itself, and all of a sudden there's no cracks where Lois Lane's at. But at the same time, it's like it did hit because, well, some stuff was falling. See, yes, I know it's Superman, I know it's fantasy logic, but even within the movie, the logic is just confusing. Is that John Ratzenberger with the mustache there at the control panel? That would be in Cheers? Maybe not, it looked a little bit like him. Where, where did my... I don't check my phone to see if there's any trivia I could mention more so I'm not just... I mean, Luther has a pretty nice place. I'll say that. He has a pretty good-looking place. Yep, there's two of them. He can save one, but he can't get the other. Can't stop both of them. So that's the point. Is like Superman stops one, he doesn't stop the other. So suppose he goes back in time, but we don't see him stop the other when he goes back in time. I think that would be less confusing. That he stops one, he goes back in time long enough to stop the other, but we don't see him do that. And then again, that creates even more confusion with. And again, if he stopped it, like if it's, if it, see, it acts like it did hit, but it didn't hit. Like it did hit because the telephone poles were crashing around Lois, and Lois complains about it, and then Mark McClure is out there where Superman saved him and dropped him into the safety, but then it didn't happen because there's no cracks. And that's me, just confusing as hell. Of course, Kryptonite. Let's see, Superman. This Lex Luthor has a bug up his ass about Hackensack, New Jersey. So we got trivia here. Initially, Gene Hackman refused to cut off his mustache to play Lex Luthor. In early one-shots of the movie, his face is featured with a mustache. Before Richard Donner and Hackman met face-to-face, Donner proposed to Hackman that if he would cut his mustache, Donner would cut his off too. Hackman agreed. It turned out later that Donner did not have a mustache. He wore a false mustache that he peeled off at the last moment. I remember that on the documentary. Gene Hackman talked about that. I thought that was a pretty fun story. Marlon Brando technically received $14 million for 10 minutes of screen time. The 3.7 million, and I guess the percentage of the gross ultimately got 14 million. The movie was filmed in New York City during the night of the 1977 blackout. New York City Daily News was able to publish despite the blackout because the film company let the newspaper use their generators. Originally, the helicopter scene was simply going to have Superman save Lois from falling. Later, Richard Donner decided to have the helicopter drop and modified the scene, calling it the Double Jeopardy scene. The film topped the box office charts for 13 consecutive weeks. Damn. It's pretty good. You don't... Doesn't really happen nowadays where a film is that number one for that many weeks. Apparently, Terry Ellis, who was in The Princess Bride, the first Saw film, Robin Hood Men in Tights, he worked as a production assistant whose job was to bring Marlon Brando out of his trailer every day. Brando had little incentive to leave his trailer. According to Terry Ellis, in an interview given to Eisenberg on the NPR show Ask Me Another, and refused to call Ellis by his given name, choosing instead to refer to then teenager as Rocky. Hmm. The film's credits sequence cost more than most movies made up to that point. Damn. Jack Klugman from The Odd Couple was the first choice to play Perry White, but he turned it down last minute. Eddie Albert agreed to the part, then demanded more money. A frantic search for the replacement actor resulted in Teenan Wynn accepting the part. After a long flight, the 61-year-old was rushed to the studio for screen tests. He complained of chest pains, was rushed to a hospital, and collapsed from extreme exhaustion. And then I guess they got Jackie Cooper. Goldie Hawn was the first choice to play Teschmacher. When Goldie wanted too much money, Donner approached Anne Margaret, who also asked for too much money. Christopher Lee had to turn down the role of General Zod. He had just moved to Hollywood as a tax exile and did not want to have to return to England. Huh. This was the second highest grossing film of 1978 behind Grease. Shows how fucking huge Grease was. George Kennedy, Jack Nicholson, and Gene Wilder were considered for the role of Lex Luthor. That's funny because Jack Nicholson, of course, would be Joker and Batman. I could see him being Lex Luthor. Gene Wilder, that would be interesting. I'll say that'd be interesting as Luthor. George Kennedy, I like George Kennedy, but nah. See, this is where like he got the first missile, but then the second one happens, and yeah, the explosion at the gas station, these telephone poles. Lois is going to complain about this after everything is okay. So again, if Superman stopped it from hitting so that there's no... none of this stuff is happening. So when Superman goes back in time, does that mean all of this is happening? Or still happens, or no? Like, when Superman goes back in time, does he also have to do this? Does he also have to save this train and save the bus? Or no? So that's what I mean, like, that's the thing with the ending. It just, when he goes back through time, it's like, oh, did he stop the missile again? It's like when he goes back in time, apparently this has all still happened where he saved all these people and the missile was stopped. But then, if that's the case, why doesn't it's like it wants to have his cake and eat it too. It wants to pick and choose what happens and doesn't happen when Superman goes back in time. That apparently he did do this, but okay, say he does this. What creates the crater that brings Lois Lane down into the crater? It's like somehow going back in time, going back in time, but he only does it just to fix the dam and the one crater for opening up and killing Lois. So even going back through time, he picks and chooses what goes back in time and what doesn't, and it's just really fucking confusing. If someone, when people try to explain it to me, I'm like, well, what about this? I don't know. What about that? I don't, and that does hamper the film for me, the enjoyment. It's just, don't have it happen. Or just have him save Lois from the get-go and not go back in time. Or let's say Lex Luthor's like, I want to defeat Superman. So somehow, I don't know, he attacks Superman with another kryptonite thing. And then that's when he did Touchmaker's help the first time, but he's going to do it himself this time because of what I said, that he doesn't want Lois to go through what happened with his dad. So he overcomes it by his own will. And it's so much hard work, but he does it, and then he's weak, but then he overcomes it. I don't know. Just a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense. Like, does ultimately Superman doing all this be pointless? Because he could just go back in time and fix it all himself? But then, like, okay, he makes it so that this dam doesn't burst. But then Jimmy Olsen is saved, and if the dam didn't burst, then Jimmy Olsen would not be here. Which means Jimmy Olsen would not have to be saved, which means Jimmy Olsen would not be in the fucking desert. But again, my friend Michael, if he ever sees this, you explain it to me. Feel free. I wonder if someone actually mentions it on this now that I have my phone up. Let's see. I'm just gonna type something up real quick, sorry. Because I'm just curious about this. No comic character actually makes sense. That's the answer to it. It's like, yeah, but at the same time, they're trying so hard to bring into this reality, you will believe a man can fly, but then they just have an ending where you just go, what the fuck? It's a good emotional moment for Superman when Lois is dead and he's like, fuck this, and like, it's a good emotional moment. It's just like, what the fuck, though? Like, what the fuck? Screen rant. We've thought about the time reversal scene since we saw it, and we're no closer to understanding. Does Superman reverse all of time, or just Earth's? Yeah, yeah. Apparently no one else understands it either. Again, I love the movie so much, but this ending, it just... Like, this stuff is fine, but then it's that time reversal shit just bothers the fuck out of me. I can't help it. Cause it's so... You didn't need to do that. That's what I mean. You didn't need to have two fucking films then. Cause it's like, well, this was going to be the end of the second film, but we want to make the end of the first film big, so we have this time reversal thing. Otherwise, it would be just a cliffhanger. How about you just make one fucking film and not deal with that shit? That's what I mean. If you just decided to make one fucking film, it would not have fucking mattered. I'm gonna say ending confusing. Of course, I say it, and everyone's talking about the fucking Zack Snyder, Man of Steel, Zack Snyder, Batman v Superman. God damn it. Sorry, I guess should put the year. Now forever. God damn it. Annoying as piss. I mean, the other aspects, like it's cool to have Superman saving, the train, and let it rides on him, getting the bus to safety. This very, like, oh, very sad part of her being buried alive. And Christopher Reeve does a great job acting in this moment. She pretty much got buried alive and couldn't save her. But it's like, his dad died. He's not going to let this person die. When Superman went back in time to save Lois, doesn't that mean that the people that he had originally saved are now doomed to die? Okay, this guy tries to explain it. There are generally two methods of time travel, skip versus slide. When you slide through time, you are in essence rewinding or fast-forwarding a tape. Time will accelerate to the desired moment. This method, the traveler will witness the rewind and will only allow one of them to exist. When skipping, you're plucking yourself from the time stream and place yourself in the desired moment. This method, Superman rewound time. He used the slide method and went directly to Lois after doing so. That means that he previously saved... No, because the version of him before he time traveled is still out there doing those things. The real question is what happens to that Superman, seeing as Lois no longer dies and he has no reason to travel back in time. No, because if that Superman is even doing all this, then this should be... the creator should still... occur at some point. It's just Superman saves her. Because the version of him before he time traveled is still out there doing those things. No, because even if he's out there doing those things, this traitor would still appear. But you have the Superman save. It's not like, oh, the traitor appears and Superman then saves her in the nick of time. That's not what happens either. So it just... there's no way to explain it. It doesn't make sense. They did not put much thought into it. And they said, just forget about it. It's just a movie. And there's the one thing I hate about this fucking film. And it sucks because I love so much about it. I love everything else about it. But this is stupid. It makes no fucking sense. Oh, it's a Superman movie. I get it, but... suspension of disbelief can go so far, and then it's like, it's broken. And then again, it makes you question, why doesn't he do this all the time? Why doesn't he do this for everything? Again, some things are brought, some things are not. And it's just... again, why doesn't he do this all the time then? For every fucking thing. Oh shit, they got my order wrong at McDonald's. Okay, he rewound it. Where's the traitor now? Why is the traitor not happening? Why is the traitor not destroying it? I mean, I can watch it for the performances. Christopher Reeve does a really great job with it. So I was almost in an earthquake. I had this gas station blow up. Telephone poles falling over me. So it did happen. It's just for some reason there's no crater. So some stuff happens and some doesn't. Because the movie just says it does. Just fuck it. That's just annoying as piss to me. And then Jimmy Olsen is going to appear. You put me in the middle of nowhere during an earthquake. So the earthquake did happen. And if the Hoover Dam, the dam, I keep saying Hoover Dam, the dam happened because he's now in the desert. If the dam never burst, then Jimmy would never need to be saved. There's a second Superman. Where's that second Superman? And it's just... no matter what people say, there's always another question. And no matter how people try to fucking explain it, there's always another fucking question. And you know, what the fuck? It's just confusing as fuck, man. It's confusing as fuck. I can't explain it, and no one else can explain it. I just wish they didn't do that route with the, I mean, you could have it be like he does all the crazy stuff and he makes the crater go back into place, and as outrageous as that is, my mind's like, as stupid as it is, I'll buy it, but just this is just one step too far. Just one step too far. Christopher Reeve makes it work. Here we have, the great shot where he smiles at the camera, and that's the ending to like each Christopher Reeve Superman film. And Superman Returns. It's a great way to end it. Leaves you a good feeling. Rest in peace, Christopher Reeve, and such. And yeah, despite the ending making no fucking sense, even for a Superman movie, it's still, the music, the performances, the scope. It's like you're on a trip, a road trip. It's the best trip ever. You got all the food, all the no fighting, nothing. Best trip ever. And then you get to the end and the fucking tires get blown off. All four of them. And, well, no, two of them. Two of the tires get blown off. And you're like, oh, fuck. You eventually get the tires fixed, but you go home. But man, it's a bit, get stranded for a few hours. It's a blemish. And that's the thing, is like, I wish I wish this ending was different. And again, that's why I said, don't worry about your two films. Worry about the first film. Don't have a cliffhanger. Don't have a fucking world spinning. Just have him help and save everybody. He goes to the nick of time, saves Lois, boom. And then you want the drama. Somehow Lex Luthor maybe gets another or a different kryptonite thing, or have it be like he saves the one thing. There's another, and then Lex Luthor gets the kryptonite on him, and it's like, well, you're not going, or something, man. I don't know how to. I'm thinking off the cuff, but there's a lot of good stuff to this movie. A lot of good stuff. Let's see. Yeah, there's about quite a bit. See, I want to get to the cast. Sorry, I want to get to the cast and the credits. But yeah, I mean, it's a great film. Other than the my bitching about the ending. Okay, here we get to the cast. Marlon Brando, Gene Hackman, Christopher Reeve, Glenn Ford, Margot Kidder, Jeff East, Mark McClure, Sarah Douglas, The Elders. Yeah, they don't have everybody in there. Oh, maybe. It's pretty long credits. Superman's first... Wow, they separated by that. Superman's first night. Oh, Larry Hagman. Yep, John Ratzenberger. That was John Ratzenberger from Cheers. Huh. That was John Ratzenberger. Wow. I did not realize... Again, if you don't know who that is, he would be in the TV show Cheers. He was in House 2, The Second Story. Oh, I did not know that. But yeah, John Williams did a phenomenal job. This is easily one of his best scores. Easily. Easily. It's this and Raiders of the Lost Ark as his two best scores. I don't know which score I would say is better. But, yeah. What more can I say about Superman the movie? He made you believe a man could fly. I think that's why there's a lot of good notes that even with the ending, I think there are people that overlook it and go, yeah, with the ending, there's just so much good in there that I'll overcome it. And I can understand that. Because I'm kind of the same way. So, that's Superman the movie. Thanks for watching. We will see you guys later. Bye-bye.